Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I'm thinking about starting doing a live show every day, like once a day for a couple of hours around this time, and just realistically keeping you up to date on what's current. I've realized I do a lot of content, and a lot of that content is based around what happens with LUNC during the day, and it can get a bit too much sometimes. And what I'm finding is I can pack a lot more into a live than I can into an 8-minute video, where on YouTube, you've realistically got 8 minutes to captivate your audience. And if you're not doing it within those 8 minutes, YouTube's not really that happy. Whereas with live streams, it kind of likes it. It kind of enjoys the idea of you being there with your community. I like the idea. I like to be here with you guys. But just let me know if the sound's all right, guys. Let me know in the comment section if the sound's okay, if there's any issues. Just let me know and I'll go and I'll look at it and I'll correct a few things. It's a bloody market at the moment, guys. It's one of those situations, what I was saying in my previous live stream, when the babushkas in your local shop are mentioning Bitcoin. In my opinion, at that point, the market is far too euphoric and we're far too overextended. Now, pullbacks are good. The thing is in these situations, is everybody reacts the exact same way. It's the worst thing ever. Everything's crashing, everything's bleeding, and everybody feels like it's just them, like it's not anybody else, it's specifically just them, it's just the coins they're invested in, when really this is a a broader market situation. This is playing out across the whole market. Alts are bleeding, memes are bleeding, everything's bleeding. There's only a few things here and there that aren't really bleeding, and there's just like a couple of random coins as well here and there that are not bleeding either. So let me start. Where should we start? Guys? Should we start with let's start with the fear and greed index. God, I've got all sorts of things going on. Let me grab, there we go, this screen. Oh, we're all up and down here this morning. Here we go. Now we're moving. Okay, so we got the fear and greed index up there after a little bit of a dilemma. So it has gone down to 77, as you can see. Yesterday was 79. Last week was 82. The month before was 76. We're now sitting at 77. So you can see the market starting to react. It's starting to get to a point where people are thinking to themselves, is this pullback bigger than I originally thought? Is this more than I bargained for? And yeah, it's just one of those situations where BTC dominates the market, right? So you don't really know where the top is, where the bottom is. And sometimes I think what a lot of people do, they just dollar cost average in, and I do that myself. But what I do is I dollar cost average light. And I'll always say to you guys, wait for a good point of entry on anything that you're looking to get involved in, so to speak. So it's market wide. Like I was saying, this isn't a scenario that's just happening to one coin or one sector. It's across the board, absolutely across the board. And I think there's so many more issues realistically with many other things other than just our sectors we're involved in, especially the LUNC sector. I mean, it's a problematic scene to say the least at the moment, where the community's not greatly heard the general direction of things, and it's not helping that we enter a phase in the market like this. And like I said, everybody gets very impatient. Everybody doesn't quite understand that overall, right? Overall, with pullbacks, with dips, with drops, we're in a bull market. Okay, we are in a bull market, and I don't think anybody could say we're in a bear market anymore, because of the simple fact we're so close to the BTC halving event. We're so close to it now. So at some point, right, we're going to have to bottom out. At some point, there is going to be a bottom. We're going to reach it, and it's at that point everything just starts moving up. Everything starts moving in a stronger direction forward, so to speak. So now let's move over to crypto bubbles, because what I want to do is give you a perspective as to what is actually going on the day. So as you can see, it's mixed. It's mostly a sea of light red, and it's not deep dark red like some days, because it's not a huge pullback. And I mean, BTC couldn't have just kept going up like that forever. Like I was saying about the babushkas in the shop, it's not just that, like, I've got friends, I've got so many different people that were saying to me about BTC, even in my in real life job, hearing people mentioning BTC and about how, yeah, it's, I guess you guys get it by now, being involved in this for 2 years. But what you've got to understand is 4.5 years passes between each halving event, right? So if you've got 4.5 years between each one, we're now in the final, let's say 40 days, depending on how the epochs play out, how the block heights play out, and the chain speed. Let's say we've got an average of 40 days left until the halving actually happens, right? This opportunity is not going to happen again for another 4.5 years, right? Another 4.5 years. So for me, what I'm currently thinking is the buying and accumulating zone realistically could be anywhere from that 35k range up until probably around the 55 to 60k range. Is sort of how you're going to determine things, how long you can hold on and how patient you can be realistically in determining what's going to happen with the market, whether it's going to go up, whether it's going to go down. But like I was saying, on the day, not looking great. But if you go back, you start to look at things on the month, we're still up a serious amount on a lot of different things. And I mean, a lot of these bigger meme coins, for example, like Pepe, Whiff, Floki, these kind of coins, right? We've got so many new meme coins that are up and coming at the moment. So many that are just starting the whole with hat scene, whether it's your apes with hats, your cats with hats, or whatever. They're popping up left, right, and center. So there's going to be so many more opportunities to get involved in. What I would say to a lot of people is like, don't go balls deep into things. Don't just like throw 100% of what you have, even if you've got $100. Like throw a couple of bucks at something, then throw a couple of bucks at something else. You've got to start small with these things, in my opinion. I always dollar cost average light to begin with, start to gain confidence, start to figure out kind of like what's going on with the markets. And yeah, it's a situation like that. You can never play things 100% in this space. So yeah. Moving forward, let's move over to what I want to do is get a look at the overall situation with BTC. I think that'd be a good idea for us this morning. Grab Streamlabs, flick you guys back here, do a little bit of magic behind the scenes there, and boom, there you go, BTC chart. Let's go. Let me remove the indicators because that will just get overly confusing for everybody. Get it off the 15-minute chart because we are not day trading here with BTCJ. So what I want to talk about is this point here. So the point of going from this uptrend to a possible downtrend. So what we're seeing now once again is a possible intersection where BTC could push out of this. Now, America's just waking up. I think if you average it out across the states, my USA clock says 10 past 8. So America's waking up currently. There's going to be a lot of markets that are waking up. Weekends are always very quiet for trading, regardless of what's going on, in my opinion. People are more, well, I wouldn't say it's always quieter, but it was definitely a situation where we had euphoria, pump, and everybody's just fixated on their screens, right? I was like putting stuff off that I needed to do, whether it was a little bit of washing, a little bit of shopping, or just going to get my hair cut, right? I was putting it off. So I think the weekend recently was definitely a sign of not an exhausted market, but just kind of like quite a lot of euphoria going on, quite a lot of trading going on, and quite a lot of opportunities. So for a lot of people, I've noticed they're accumulating. A lot of people are accumulating at the moment and just grabbing what they can, where they can, and taking their chances, kind of not going full steam, but just being very careful and considerate, I guess, whilst also bringing in a level of security, because like I was saying, you just don't know when this thing's going to all of a sudden dig its heels in and just go, do you know what? I'm going to go upwards. So it was Solana's birthday yesterday, guys. So what I'm thinking is over the next course of week, it's going to be a situation of attention, and we're in an attention market at the moment. And what I mean by that is coins, ideas, projects, tokens, utility tokens, whatever they are, if they can garner and gain the attention of the overall broader community, you're going to see them do a thing like Book of Meme, where it just shoots up 1,000% overnight. And yeah, just like that, you know, you've made some serious gains. And this does happen. You know, shout out to people who listened during the past couple of lives. And I was mentioning about VSG. VSG moved by 313% overnight last night. And I mean, it's one of those ones that's moving against BTC. We'll be talking again about about VSG a lot probably during this live, but I've got a video ready dropping later on today going in all of the ins and outs, all of the ups and downs, what's really captivated and captured my mindset as to getting involved with this and what kind of opportunities are available for you guys. And what I'm doing is taking a look and really putting myself in your perspective, in your shoes, as to what you would want to know about the project and what you would want to see from a project like this. And if you're from the DeFi sector, you're from the Terra Classic sector, VSG is going to be right up your street. The only difference is it's going to be Ethereum based. It's going to be in an area where gas is very high, but it's extortionately high at certain points. But if you play your cards right, you wait for the good opportunities, the gas fees aren't really overly too bad unless you're selling your bag to get in and out during, you know, those peak points of crypto trading, which I guess a few people will be, but I myself holding stuff for the long term. So BTC overall, we're in that point critical moment. I mean, the trend line's way down, as you can see, where we've bounced a couple of times before. But I don't think we've got much further we can come down. I think the market's in a point where people want to buy, but people don't want to buy. But if people start to see that those green candles coming in, BTC leveling out, it's starting to push up, I think it's going to kick in a level of FOMO again. And with BlackRock, obviously, everything that BlackRock are buying and accumulating for ETFs, right, those aren't leaving the market again. I don't know if you guys know about that, but the way it works is, right, they've got to have the BTC to back up the ETFs that they're selling to their consumers, right? So therefore, they can never sell the BTC, realistically. Obviously, they could do a dirty deal behind the scenes, act like they've still got the BTC and sell it and then rebuy it, sell it, rebuy it. But I just don't think that they could do that in those circumstances, in those sectors, just because how heavily regulated those things are. It was pushed by the SEC. So that's the scenario that's playing out there. So I think this whole kind of idea of BTC is not a store of value. I think it's a bit of a con. It's a bit of a trick that's just being pushed by the bigger players like BlackRock in the game, when realistically it is. And the aim of the game is to own all of the Bitcoin, or as many of the Bitcoin as possible, because that's the only way you're going to control this thing or stem it or try to put some kind of funnel on it as to which you can gain and garner control over the system. But I think the overall trajectory is a little bit upwards. So I was saying in a previous video about this correction that we were going to hit a point, and we have been coming down since then. Do I think we're going to come down to 35k? I don't know. I think maybe in the worst case scenario, we could probably come down to like 50, maybe like 46k, but like 40k would be a huge downside. And I just don't think the markets can hold on that much. I don't think people can resist for that long unless we have some crazy news, some kind of crazy news come in or something insane happen. I just don't think we'll come down that far. I think we'll have this short-term dip, and then followed by a decent pump, maybe a little sell-off on the halving event, kind of buy the rumor, sell the news, if that makes sense. If we look at BTC historically, I think you've kind of previously kind of seen it, but kind of not seen it, because when we're zoomed out so far like this, you're not seeing the true kind of idea what's going on here. But we can see the halving happens around here previously. You've got that dip before, which is what concerned me the most. But after that, it's cool running, so to speak. So if you think about us now, where we are, point criticality. Oh, so early here. Then realistically, it's only upwards from here, isn't it? Let me know what you guys think about that in the in the chat section. I'm trying to say comments because I don't really do lives, but do it in the live chat section. Are we only upwards from here, or do you think there's going to be a huge pullback, like a big pullback? Or do you think this is just a slight dip before the big rip? Because after the halving event, you get that big rip, you get a pretty big dip, if you ask me, followed by another rip. But there's also obviously a little rip and a dip between that. So how the overall market reacted during that time would be very interesting to see. Kind of like the replay button up here, if you've got that feature and you're able to use it. That would be a good thing to do, to just go through and look at how all the different coins reacted around this time. I think a lot of people from the Lunar Classic community are scared. I'm quite scared and worried that maybe, hey, you know, we need to reiterate things. I've heard a lot of people speaking about turning LUNC into a meme coin. The only issue is, to do that, you would need to like revoke all of the validating and the governance and consensus layer of the blockchain to do that. And the going issue would definitely be removing that paycheck from so many people would just not happen. But I keep thinking to myself, what is LUNC going to do when BTC rips up by another 725%? So let's say BTC rips up another 725% from here, from the fourth halving event. Where does that even take us to? Like I was saying, like it's like $250,000. I think about $250,000 a Bitcoin. At the final push of this halving event, I think that's where BTC is going to end up. So wherever that leaves the overall market, I don't know. I myself am not fortunate enough to have seen a true halving bull event cycle. But what I do know is this just doesn't happen all the time. It happens every 4.5 years. The likelihood is the next halving event, it's not going to be any different, aside the fact that crypto is probably going to be more mainstream in 4.5 years. Global adoption is probably going to be pushed along much further. There's going to be a lot more people involved. So it's not just going to be, 1% in crypto, 99% not in crypto. You'll probably have a far better ratio at that point as to who's involved in crypto, institutional wealth, smart money, etc., etc., etc. So with the ETF things, right, you see all of this news, don't you? Or XRP ETF, ETH ETF, anything can become an ETF. Anything can become an ETF. There's like people like, XRP ETF's never going to work. It doesn't work like that. If smart money and institutional money like BlackRock, for example, say to themselves, well, Ethereum, we could make some money off that. They'll just turn it into whatever they need to turn it into so they can legally use it. The idea of creating laws and bending laws is part of their jobs. It's part of the job description for them. So yeah, I think the whole situation with BlackRock, the BTC that they're buying, I think it's overall bullish for us, because you're just not going to see those people buying in to sell out and keep getting in with those dips. It's longer term hold, so to speak. ASA 198, thank you for that 10 euro donation. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Guys, 34 concurrent viewers, 23 likes. Smash that like button. It really does help the channel. It helps us grow, and it's only a small little button for you guys. And remember, we'll be doing a Q&A during this whole thing. So if you've got questions, just throw them down in the live chat. And when we get to that point, I'll go back to the chat. I'll scroll through. I'll answer your questions. If you want me to look at any coins, if you want me to do TA on anything, just put it down in the section and we'll get to it at some point if we can. So BTC, like I was saying, what to expect today? I think we're going to have a little bounce today. Just call it a hunch, call it my own personal opinion. I think we've cooked down enough. I think we see a little up movement for now. As to altcoin seasons and altcoins bleeding, it's pretty bad. Like across the board, it's pretty bad. I think the only sort of alts that aren't bleeding are more from the Solana sort of scene, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah, of course it makes sense, because Solana's absolutely killing it. If we were as smart as Solana, well, no, it's not about being as smart as Solana. Honestly, it's about having good developers that are not just... Our issue is we don't have developers that believe in the technology, they believe in the blockchain, they believe in where it can be, they just believe in the next paycheck and what can they offer that is relatively easy for them to do so they can achieve a paycheck. Does that make sense? Where Solana's got a good development team behind it. They've got good community members behind it. They've got a huge roadmap that's been, hit point after point after point after point. And once again, all rolls back to having really good developers that have got an idea, have got a vision of what it can and cannot be. And it's absolutely decent. But like I was saying, guys, get those comments in and let me know, because I will be going through things at some point. So let me move us over to some, let's move over to the Lunar Classic price. I know a lot of you will be here because of LUNC. So let's move over to some LUNC price. Bring it over to here. Here we go. So the trend line, the very, very important trend line. And my video today is more or less going over the inverse cup and possible handle we're seeing playing out. Now, this trend line is really important right here. If we hit this and come back up today, along with Bitcoin, this is why I'm saying it's important that Bitcoin kind of makes a move up today, especially for us as Lunar Classic community people. We need to bounce on this trend line. If we don't, the likelihood is this inverse cup and handle is going to play out. And if it does play out, there's going to be a short-term down, probably followed by a long-term up. But like I said, if BTC bounces, it moves back up today, we get some more investments going in, the likelihood is we will bounce on this line. But we're at point criticality. A lot of things are at point criticality at the moment. A lot of different things, including USTC, is printing this exact same kind of inverse cup and handle, as you can see. So a lot of things are printing this at the moment, which is kind of not what you want to see, but at the same time, we can't ignore it. And I think about 2-3 days ago, we were at a point where we were on the trajectory line of the head and shoulders pattern, and we should have bounced alongside XRP. XRP bounced by 27%. We did not. We crashed through that head and shoulders trend and trajectory line. So this one's much more important to us moving forward, guys. I would say this is going to be a deciding day for us. Maybe not today, actually, maybe across to tomorrow, maybe into the early morning of Wednesday. But at some point, we're going to have to make a decision whether we go up or whether we go down. And that's really going to be a decider. Now, what I think the LUNC community need to take into account is the positives from something like this. It applies stress to validators that don't do anything, if that makes sense. Greedy validators, especially those that are centralizing, who are earning a lot. Every time this happens, right, their paychecks get cut. So if the price goes down 100% and they're getting $2,000 one month, okay, the next month they're only going to be getting $1,000. If it goes down another 1,000%, you're getting the idea there. So this, in a sense, although the negative price impact's not great, right? The benefits from this, it actually does apply stress to a lot of validators. And if you're not doing anything on this blockchain, you're going to find that out quite quick when, for example, the next time there's a big pump now, people are going to get prepared for it and people will start to remove their delegations. We've already seen a shift in delegations, only slightly, but we've seen a shift. But this in itself, for me, the more it goes down and the more it hurts you guys, the more it actually hurts people like Allnodes, people like Interstellar Lounge, people like Orion, Jesus, Terraport. Although some of these people have third-party dexes and their own sort of like layer 2 blockchains and layer 1 blockchains, it still hurts them, and it puts them in a position where they have to start to think a bit more and a bit more towards the chain. But this is also a good sign to show everybody like they don't care. That much is quite obvious to a lot of people. So I do have a proposal prepared, and I did wait again till Monday because what I wanted to do, I introduced it in the previous live stream, and I wanted to kind of speak about it again today. Now we've got a big issue on chain with a rising Sybil attack. I don't think anybody can ignore it. It has been brought up once in a proposal, well, not a proposal, but a Commonwealth discussion. And people were kind of laughing at it as if it was like a bit of a joke, I think. But I think the issue's real, it's there. And the argument definitely is, and is definitely relevant, is the fact that there's no governance rule passed or agreed to say that you shouldn't double node. And I think passing a governance rule like that, introducing it into the repository as part of the Git book, something like that, and getting the rule enforced, because then at least the people double noding, if they are going to continue to do it, it will be seen negatively overall. Mass media will see that the proposal passed, they'll grab onto it, they'll report on it and say, well, you know, circumstantially they've passed this, but there's still an issue with these people who are doing this or doing, you know, it's the after effects, the chain of causation. So I think that's a good thing to do. But at the same time, if you guys don't give me enough feedback on it, I just won't do it. And, you know, I won't bother putting my neck on the line, so to speak, just to kind of get trod on or get racist attacks and all of those different things. So feedback's going to be really important with this one, guys, because like I said, if support's not there, I just won't do it. I won't put myself in a position where nobody really cares about the chain and it falls basically just to someone like me to keep sort of pushing things along and sort of saying, well, guys, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. And it's not, you know, it's not very cash money of you, I think is a good way to say it. It's just not. Like, at the end of all of this, if we all do that, it will just be a big pile of crap and just a few validators, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's very, very, very interesting. But yeah, if there's not enough of feedback, then I won't do it, guys, because at the same time, I don't want to upset any of you, and I don't want to upset other people and mess with their money flow. If that's something that you don't want me to do and you do want them to be making a lot of money, then in that case, we'll leave it like that and we won't upset people. I think that's really important. Okay, so let's bring this screen up and let's move over to crypto news. I use a lot of different news feeds. I do tend to use this one. It does annoy me they don't have a dark mode, but hey, what are you going to do? There's a lot of things going on. LUNC has been mentioned in another article like this. I showed it in my previous live. It's also shown in my video that's coming out later on today after this live stream, about LUNC being mentioned as one of the top coins to buy to turn $10 into $1,000 this week. So we were mentioned in another article like that, which is really good. And I always say this to you guys about the external media, how they report on us is how we're perceived. It's an attention-based market. So if we had burned those coins probably like now, and we had made a big deal of it with the USTC and really like made a build up to it, had a countdown on a few different websites, it would have done well because we were in an attention market, whereas we weren't really in an attention market when we burned those coins. With the outflows from USTC at the moment, it's only going to impact the price negatively. You're not going to see anything positive come from all of those USTC burns because they're not being promoted in a positive way, and the people behind it are not doing it for this chain, so that the promotion goes to their own chain. So, you know, it's exit liquidity, exit users, and no media. So being in an attention market it's everything. It's absolutely everything. And this is why meme coins stand out so much. And you've got all of these Solana meme coins that are just up and coming, up and rising. But what you want to be looking for is utility tokens, things that you can really go in and look at and understand that there's a system, there's a roadmap, there's a goal, there's a good development team behind it. And really you want to be involved in something you can have good say and good sway in, but at the same time, there's got to be, what I've learned is safeguards to prevent centralization of anything, because that just inherently becomes a huge issue as time goes on. And then at that point, you know, the rich control everything. You end up with the sort of oligarch type behavior, and it's a very peculiar situation. So I have got BTC on another screen that you guys can't see, and it's currently doing the whole, we go up a bit, we go down a bit, we go up a bit, we go down a bit. And as BTC does that, right, it bleeds everything. Everything kind of just sort of bleeds with it. You'll get a few things moving here and there. I mentioned in my live stream about looking at Gorilla. I use the trading indicator on a coin called Gorilla during these times because of the simple fact that it just goes up when BTC goes down. And as soon as BTC starts to go up and it's been pumping, it starts to come back down. So I just keep messing around with that, and a couple of $100 in, I take a couple $100 out, $100 in, a couple $100 out. And that's all you can do during these times. So news wise, it's just there's so much junk out there at the moment. But what has really caught my eye, this was the article I was looking for, is Floki's new roadmap that they're going to be unveiling or have unveiled, because it started off as a bit of a joke, Floki. I remember when it first came about, and it's been moving about really quietly in the background. And I think a lot of people forgot about it, and it ended up with kind of like its core community, its core user base. But now it's starting to be in the situation where, hey, you guessed it, it's an attention market. It's a situation where they're gaining and garnering attention. I mean, if we came out with a good roadmap as the LUNC chain, we were going to stick to it. The developers had come up with it, and it was really something that we had been sold. You can imagine how bullish that would be for us. So it's the same for Floki. So in a recent announcement, Floki has set the date of March 2022-2024 for its unveiling of its highly anticipated Floki roadmap, promising significant revelations. The community eagerly awaits this day, expecting epic announcements to unfold later in the week. So this is definitely something you want to keep an eye out for. Put it in your calendars, because these kind of things are where people start to probably accumulate. And this is definitely, if you are someone who dollar cost averages in smartly and goes lightly, this would be a good time to start accumulating. I've started accumulating a very tiny amount of Floki, just in case it does something crazy, just in case it pops off by like 500% in the night. You just don't know with these kind of coins. I was hanging around in the VSG chat this morning, guys, and they were mentioning a tier 2 listing. So if you haven't got involved in VSG and you were thinking about getting involved, now would probably be a good time. I topped up my bag this morning when I got up, and I saw it run up by so much. And then it's come back down. It's cooling off a little bit, but that was good. That was what I wanted to see. Definitely what I wanted to see. But this is good. Really, really excited for this. Like I said, I'm new to everything. Anything that's outside of LUNC and USTC and XRP, I'm relatively new to. So it's all a learning experience for me. Yeah. So they reckon SHIB's going to be the first meme coin to hit that, the big hole, oh, no meme coins ever hit this market cap thing. I'm not a believer in SHIB. I think it's a good community. The project's good. But I feel like they're in the same situation as LUNC. A whole lot of coins to burn. The developers aren't burning any coins. The chain's not able to buy the coins back to burn. And the community doesn't really got the direction of what they want to get. And I always think to myself, wow, we're all really in the same boat right now. The LUNC community and the SHIB community, I think we've got a lot in common, like a huge amount in common, to say the least. All right, guys, so about 37 minutes into this, what I'm going to do is I'll go back to the top of the comments and I'll go through and I'll read some stuff across board, see what you guys are saying. Oh, the sound's perfect. We were having a discussion this morning, a couple of different YouTubers about sound, about how sound's really important, really perfect. And then I was like, oh, maybe my sound's really crap. True Aussie Validator, shout out to True Aussie Validator, guys. A true validator right now that is experiencing the problematic scene of being a validator right now, and concurrently is shutting down. Is set to shut down, I think, at the end of his, I would guess, infrastructure round, which is really sad. It's proof that these people who are double noding are having a severe effects, because effectively every time someone creates another node and becomes successful at it, they push one person outside of the active set. So each time it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I think, I don't want to speak for these other validators, but I think there's a couple of others that are shutting down as well. So It's a very sad time. Yes, very sad time. But yeah, shout out to you, Trozzy Validator. So Cody Edwards, I feel so frustrated as everything I've bought recently. Managed to buy it in where I thought was a good spot, and it's mostly chased. Yeah, Cody, welcome to crypto, my friend. It's just one of those ones. Like I was saying at the beginning, everybody freaks out and it makes it worse. Like, yeah, I did the video and said that we were going to have probably like a crash, but I myself, there's an algorithm and I have to beat that algorithm. Otherwise nobody sees my content, and I already struggle with that. Right. But inherently the situation is at the moment, I don't think we're coming down much further than we've already come down, and the market's going to get too greedy, way too greedy. The whales will start buying in at some point. They'll realize it's going to go back up. But there are a lot of things that are going up. And I mean, Sync's been doing great. Sync's been moving back up very, very well. That's definitely a longer term hold for me. So waiting for 54k after that, BTC will 2x to 100k in my opinion. Spawner, honestly, I'd say we're going to $250,000. I could be wrong, but I think that's about the range that we're looking at. So like I said, guys, any questions, get them in there. Get them in there and I'll answer them. 1 a.m. here in Australia. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what time's best to do these. Maybe like 58k maybe, but not likely. Probably a moderate pullback than a massive rip. Yeah, I think this is a dip before the rip. 35k, no way. Yeah, I think I was being very pessimistic with that. Would you say pessimistic? I don't really know how to use... Would that... Yeah, I think it would be. I think I was, but at the same time, crazier things have happened. So by the effing dip. Yeah, it's a good point. Will you go for Gary Network once? I don't know what Gary Network is. You have to provide me more information. It's Gary USDT. We'll take a look shortly. If Sol ETF hits the market, then Sol will overtake ETH. Sol has been moving like crazy. BNB's been moving even crazier and has been doing it silently without anybody like doing anything for it. It's just so heavily used. The fees are so minimum. Yeah, absolutely great to see all of that. I'm still waiting to see what on earth Binance is planning on doing with all the LUNC. It's a peculiar situation. It really is. The amount of times I've spoken about it here, I mean, previously, historically, in the past, and even now, I'm a bit obsessed with it, some people would say. But there's got to be something there. Because if this chain does end up at a point where it gets to a point where people start to leave, there's not enough money for validators, right? What was the point in getting all of those coins? Like, what was the point? What was the point of accumulating those many coins for that long and holding them? Like, why? So that's always been the, I wouldn't say selling point for me, but it was definitely, and still definitely is, a situation where there has to be a reason for it all. And it can't be to buy more coins or to be the biggest LUNC holder. It just doesn't work like that. And at first they were doing it very obviously, whereas now they're not doing it obviously. They're doing it in a manner where it's just there. And since we've got money flow back, since we're in a position where we can look and dive into all of these different things, right? You can see there's a lot more coins shuffling about than we've been made to believe. And they keep them in different wallets. So they'll keep them in bridge wallets. They'll keep a lot of it split apart so it never ever hits together. And it seems a lot of it goes through BTC Turk. So BTC Turk and themselves hold a lot, but they move a lot. Like way more than people think. And I was kind of showing that in the money flow video and trying to get my point across as to that whole situation with everything. So what I'm going to be doing, guys, is looking at VSG shortly and kind of going over that and showing you how crazy that scene is at the moment and how relative it is to what I'm already involved in. I'm so excited to spin up my validator and to meet the technical requirements and throw down my self stake. And, you know, during times like this, if something's not dumping and it's pumping And normally something like that's like a couple billion market cap and it's got a huge community, you know, it's already done what it's supposed to do. Jesus, it's below $6 million market cap still. We've got less than 500 holders. It's got its first CEX listing coming up, and last night it just decided to just run 313% whilst I was asleep. So yeah, brilliant, great, good one. It's like, what happened? And I just thought to myself, you know, it's the hype, it's the buzz, it's the story, it's the roadmap, it's the team, it's the developers, it's the community, it's everything. It's the right mix. It's absolutely the right mix. It's kind of like the Powerpuff Girls. If you ever used to watch, you know, Sugar, Spice, and VSG's nice. One of those kind of things. Really interesting. Go tell your grandmas. Do whatever you want to do. Hang in there, Cody Edwards. You're not the only one. Yeah, you tell him, Stargazer. So what else have we got here? Rain coin, yep, we'll check that as we go through. Look up on NSA on Sol, and that is not a meme coin, by the way. Yeah, VSG, not a meme coin either, guys. Utility token. How is this crypto BlackRock support? I mean, I don't think anybody thought Gary was going to approve it. So really, you guys all need to just inherently go and thank Gary and say, you know what, Mr. Gensler, thank you very much. We appreciate you letting us have these BTC ETFs. Because like I said, what goes in doesn't come back out. Unless they decide to just cash it all out and say to themselves, well, this was a crap idea. Let's sell everybody's shares back to them and let's get out of this. But that's not happening. I was saying recently that this is now like LimeWire or like Napster. Like the bottle's open on the genie. Like you're not putting the genie back in the bottle. It's done. It's at this point, right, when you think about it, it sends the biggest signal ever to smart money, to people who are not involved in crypto, that you should probably get involved in crypto. But just my theory, just my thesis, you know, I could be totally wrong, but I know I'm right about the whole situation with the BTC going in and not going back out. So let me see, any more questions? Any more questions? I feel like I'm going through looking for hands pointing upwards. If you bought into a project and retrace 30%, would you buy more? Yeah, Cody, right. The only way you lose money in crypto is when you sell your position. Now, what I do, if I buy a position and it goes down 50%, I will dollar cost average into that position. I don't want to be at the point of where it begins to reverse and I've not got a lower down position where I'm gaining from it on the way back up to catch my other positions. It's smart. Selling your positions, and this is why we will always say don't risk what you're not willing to lose or what you can't lose. Like I said, if you've got $100 and only $100, don't put $100 on your trade. Put $10 on it. Right. And if it goes up 100%, don't think to yourselves, oh, well, you know, that's crap. I should have put all of my money down. And then next time you think to yourself, oh, I'll put all of my money down because, you know, I missed it last time. And then it doesn't happen this time. And then you get out of rhythm. You start to not trust yourself and, you know, you get yourself into a position like that. But I would always say to someone, don't sell your position. So I messed up. Bonk ran and I grabbed like $400 at the top. And it come down, my $400 went to like maybe like $120 and I just held it. I just left it and I ignored it. And then when it came time and it was moving, everything was moving back up, I went back and checked it and it was like $1,800. I was like, wicked, brilliant, cheers, thank you. So it's always best to dollar cost average into a position. It's always best to hold on to a position and, you know, try not to sell a position because selling is how you lose money. And I know you think when your value of your coins have got, you know, oh, I've lost all of this money. You've still got those coins. The price can still go back up. And I think a lot of people in crypto are probably a lot of people who watch TikToks and are very used to a short format, short attention span, not having to listen very long and just kind of like, you know, oh, I want gains now. And, you know, if I don't get them now, I'm going to be very unhappy. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. You know, you have to go and watch some more TikToks for some instant gratification. But, you know, this is crypto and it doesn't work around us. You know, it just does what it wants to do and BTC will always decide. So very peculiar situation. Let's move over to VSG, shall we, guys? Okay. I get all excited. So we are moving upwards again, it looks like. So what we've seen previously, if I go onto a 4-hour chart, by the way, guys, you can only get these on Uniswap currently. That's how new it is. See, below 6 million market cap. Holy moly. Goddamn grammar. Very low down. So previously we've seen a pretty decent trend line form. And along that trend line, you've seen one bounce. 2 bounces here, followed by a 4th here, and now we've moved up. And that is 3, I think, from, depending on where you measure it, it's around like 360% overnight. And the good thing is, for people who have not got involved in this yet, it has come back down and it has had a little cool off. I think this is really good. I think it's really important because what we're seeing now is another trend line forming. And what I'm saying by this is, boom, you're seeing that trend line starting here. So we've got the trend line starting here, clean bounce here, and then once again seeing another bounce here. This is really good. It's really positive. And like I said, this is really new. So if you go and, for example, if we look at Book of Meme, right, which I've got a small bag of Book of Meme. Book of Meme's got a pretty decent market cap. If you apply that market cap to VSG, well, you're going to come out with some very interesting numbers. You're going to come out with some numbers that get you sweating, to say the least. And I mean, seeing this happen overnight was insane. And I went to sleep, I woke up, and then boom, it had literally run by that much. And for some people, this is substantial, right? For some people, this is get in and get out and they're done, move on to the next coin. But this one's different. And the reason why this one's different for me is because it's so similar to what I already know and what I'm already used to. And what I mean by that is it's a decentralized chain and it's aiming to be a fully decentralized chain as to which you can validate. It'll have a consensus layer, have governance. It will be voting weighted on how many coins you've got, so to speak. So it's going to be a very interesting situation seeing this happen from birth instead of trying to get involved in this once like it's way down the line. Instead, we're going to be part of the foundation, part of the roots. You know, really, really excited about this. I've got a full video dropping and I don't want to give off too much before the video, but there's so much more to this chain than just the governance, the route ahead with having validators and all of the different things they've got and the staking. And there's so much more to it. It's hyper deflationary. I mean, if you guys have wanted burns over here, you're going to get them over there. That's for sure. So currently, like I said, is moving back upwards from the point of bouncing off of that new trend line. You're looking at about 22%. So it's going to be really interesting. I've been shouting this out in my past 2 previous lives. I've just been a bit late on getting a video out there, just so busy with other things. But the video dropping on this will give you all of the information you guys need to know, along with all of the links. So what I'll do as well is I'll just drop a link in the chat for you guys to that chart, just so you don't end up at the wrong coin or you end up like buying the wrong coin through the wrong ticker or something like that. Always be careful, guys. Check the contracts and do all of the double checks. You can see here on the left hand side, you can see you've got the VSG contract and then the pair contract for WETH as well. So just double check everything. Don't ape into anything. At times, just let it ride and keep my eye on it periodically. Like I said, this is a bull market. Okay, everything right now is just going to be foreshadowed in like 2-3 months by these huge pumps that are coming. If we think about previously what we looked at with the BTC historical chart, the pump that's coming is literally going to shadow everything. If BTC goes to $250,000 a coin or even 100K a coin, it's going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely insane, to say the least. But yeah, I'm like that as well, Stargazer. I've got a bulk amount of dry powder, don't get me wrong, but you know, well, not all of us. I'm a LUNC validator, so it's my job to more or less to make sure that my validator's secure. So all of my coins have always been locked up and will always remain locked up, so that no matter what happens, the validator's always secure. That's always been there and it will always remain there. And then on top of that, I've got my staked bag that backs that up, and that'll always stay there. I'll never ever sell that, even if LUNC goes to $1, which will be many years from now. I hope not many years, but you know, we've got a lot of supply to churn through before those sort of price predictions even become relevant, to say the least. But it's one of those ones that I'm holding so many long-term things, but VSG is something I added to my long-term utility bag, and there's not many things that captivate me. Like OPXH is definitely one that's captivated me. Got a video coming on that tomorrow as well. But this really got hold of me. The team's response time on everything was great. I mean, I got hold of these guys and I asked them about the validating layer and about when the chain would go live and all of those different things. And normally it takes ages to get a response. If you get a response, period, these guys are on the ball. These guys are so on the ball. It's unbelievable. And it was nice. You know, it's nice to get someone come straight back to you and not have to, because on LUNC, I have to figure out everything for myself. There is no one you can go to really ask for information. You've got to go and you've got to fish it out yourself. You've got to figure out if you are trying to get, like, we've got LUNC Dash and people just look at it like it's just this website and, you know, it just appears like that. The amount of work that goes on behind the scenes of querying the blockchain to get that information is insane. But that's actually a good look. So for those of you, right, who are not part of LUNC, this is LUNC Dash, okay? Eventually, this is what VSG is going to be. And VSG will need a website just like this, so you can see the proposals, so you can see the delegation amount, so you can see the supplies, the total supply, the latest block, the epoch, the community pool. You're going to need to see all of this. This is what's coming for VSG. The only difference is, right, is we're not flogged down anymore over there, right? And I'm always going to be an LUNC believer. I will always be doing LUNC content, but at the same time, right, I'm in this the same as everybody else, and I just think there's so many more opportunities out there for all of us. But VSG is looking good. If you look at BTC right now, look at it. You know, so BTC is moving downwards, right? What's VSG doing? Oh, it's moving upwards. It's moving upwards. There's a hill near where I live, and if you go there, put your car in reverse, keep your foot on the clutch, let your foot off the brake, your car will go in reverse up the hill. That's what VSG was built. That's where VSG comes from. Explain this. Somebody explain this to me. Very interesting situation. Like I said, clean bounce off that trend line, it looks like. So it looks like we're going up again, which is going to be really interesting. And I've been covering this for a couple of days in lives. I've seen a lot of other influencers now covering this and now noticing that this is a similar chain to LUNC and it's something that's going to be really big. And the likelihood is this thing's just going to pop off by a couple 1,000% overnight, like it almost did last night. I mean, you were 30% towards 1,000% gain. So it's going to be an interesting situation. Guys, I'm just going to nip to the toilet quickly. All right, guys, welcome back. So, yeah, VSG, absolutely bullish on this coin, to say the least, So, let me bring you over now to Sync. Let's take a look at Sync. Sync is something that I've dived into, very similar situation to LUNC. The APY over there, or APR, whichever one you want to call it, is amazing. to say the least. I've been getting very good returns off of my staking yield, which is good. This is what, throughout this whole situation we've gone through, the ups, the downs, everything leading up to this big moment, what we call the halving event, I've been getting staking yield in LUNC and USTC and all of the other crap coins you get over there. But that's been great, because once the halving event really takes place, it kicks off, it does what it's supposed to do. I'm selling all of it. Everything that I've made in staking earnings is getting sold. I'll keep what I have in stake because I'll keep wanting to get those coins back, right? But that's what I've been doing. And this, for me, even though we're in a bull market, even though currently prices are moving downwards, this is still a good time to accumulate, because like I said, think about this whole thing as a set of waves. And this wave we just had is just the first wave. There's many more waves to come after this. What's the link for LUNC Dash? It's LUNCdash.com, guys. Here we go. I'll grab it for you. There we go. So I've dropped a link to LUNC Dash down in there. So the plan with LUNC Dash, guys, I'll give you a quick update again, is to, and it should be at some point this week we start doing it, is integrating station technology fully into LUNC Dash. So you'll have your governance on there, you'll have the voting, you'll have access to your wallet. If you're a validator, you'll be able to, manage your validator on here. My idea and aim is to provide you everything in one place, okay? So you don't have to leave this website. Okay, so if you need to do anything, you've just got it all here. And then no matter what happens moving forward, this can never ever be taken away from you guys. It can never be used as a political weapon against you, and it can never be used as a leveraging tool to get money out of you. And I think this is really important moving forward. It's definitely something we needed as a blockchain alongside the money flow, all of the other different things. But moving back to Sync quickly, it's definitely something for me. It's a longer term hold. It's part of something I've been adding to my bigger bag, and it's something that once again is down here in an accumulating zone. And I think that I must have about 30 messages from different people who got in here and then got out up here, and they said to me, look, I love these. They're like, but I'm not a long term holder. But they're like, these are great, dude. Keep letting us know about these coins, because for those of you that are just getting in and out quickly, that's a quick 215%. And it's the same again with VSG. If you grab VSG, you're looking at 300 and something percent. When we mentioned OPXH, I had the same thing again there. Went up by like 300%. And the amount of people that made good profit is amazing to see that, because that's what we're all here for. We're all here for those decent amounts of profit. As much as we all have those coins we're supporting, I guess some of you are just realistically here to just make gains. Let me bring up OPXH, because OPXH, like I've been saying to a few people, I would say we're in an accumulating zone, because my couple of my first entries are actually down here in this area. So I would say this is still in a good accumulating zone here, where it keeps coming down, it keeps touching and bouncing. Eventually, this is one of those things that's just going to take off. Low market cap, below 5 million, good community, buzzing, vibrant. It's definitely what you want to see. They burn coins, another thing that you guys love and are obsessed with, regardless of my viewpoint on it. These are all good things. They're good traits. They're things that haven't moved yet. And so many people go around and they're looking to try and get, a couple 100% out of Floki or a couple 100% out of Pepe. There's so many options out there when it comes down to looking at different things and getting involved in different things. So we've been running here for an hour, guys. I've got no real questions, so I guess I don't really need to do a Q&A during this one, which really helps me out. So what I'm going to be doing is ending this one, and I'll be getting the content out for you guys around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Another one will be dropping later on after that. But other than that, guys, enjoy your day. BTC is going to be really funny. It's going to move down. It's going to move up. It's going to move down. It's going to move up, and it's going to keep playing with your emotions until you feel like it's all over. and the likelihood it's just going to break out and go absolutely wild. So hang in there, guys. Like I said, this is a bull market. What comes after this will shadow everything that you've seen previously. There'll be crazy new all-time highs and crazy new all-time lows. You know, guys, not much else other than saying stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. As always, I'll catch you in the next one.